The big fat lie, we can't afford it. Big corporations love to cry poor. Whenever the topic of a living wage comes up, they whip out the same tired excuse. We can't afford it. They claim raising wages will destroy jobs, bankrupt businesses, and crash the economy. It's a scare tactic, plain and simple. These companies aren't hurting for cash. They're swimming in it. We've all seen the headlines, CEOs raking in record profits while their employees struggle to put food on the table. It's a tale of two Americas, one where the rich get richer and the other where everyone else is left fighting for scraps. But here's the thing, it doesn't have to be this way. The truth is, corporations can afford to pay their workers a living wage. They just don't want to. They're prioritizing profits over people, greed over fairness. It's time to call their bluff and demand better. Like, follow and share on YouTube at WhatIsNext89, and for TikTok, follow me at ClickTikTok. Let's be clear, corporations are not hurting for money. In 2023 alone, US companies raked in record profits. We're talking trillions of dollars, folks. These profits aren't trickling down to workers. They're being funneled to the top, lining the pockets of CEOs and shareholders. A study by the Economic Policy Institute found that CEO pay has skyrocketed by 940% since 1978, while the typical worker's pay has increased by a measly 12%. Let that sink in for a moment. 940% for the folks at the top, 12% for the people actually doing the work. This isn't about job creators anymore. It's about greed, plain and simple. Corporations can afford to pay their workers a living wage, but they're choosing not to. They're prioritizing short-term profits over the long-term health of their workforce and the economy as a whole. It's time to hold them accountable.
It's really astonishing when you think about it. The disparity between CEO pay and worker pay over the last 50 years is staggering. The numbers speak for themselves. We need to start questioning these priorities and demanding change.
Here's a novel idea. Treat your workers well, and they might just work harder. It's not rocket science, folks. When people feel valued and fairly compensated, they're more likely to be engaged and productive. They're less likely to quit, saving companies money on recruitment and training. Study after study has shown that higher wages lead to increased productivity, lower turnover, and improved customer service. A happy worker is a productive worker. It's really that simple. Yet corporations cling to this outdated notion that squeezing their workers is the path to prosperity. It's not just morally wrong, it's bad for business. Investing in your workforce is investing in your company's success. When employees earn a living wage, they have more money to spend, boosting the economy. They're healthier, miss fewer work days, and are more likely to stay with the company. It's a win-win situation for everyone involved. Section 4. Executive greed, a black hole sucking up everyone's wages. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, executive compensation. CEOs are making more money than ever before, while their workers are struggling to make ends meet. It's a slap in the face to every hard-working American.
The average CEO to worker pay ratio in the United States is now a staggering 351 to 1. That means for every dollar a worker earns, their CEO makes $351. Let me repeat that, 351 to 1. Does that seem fair? Does that seem sustainable?
This level of income inequality is not only morally reprehensible, it's bad for the economy. It leads to lower consumer spending, slower economic growth, and social unrest. When the gap between the rich and the poor widens, everyone suffers. And why do they continue to be so greedy? Because they allow it. The system is designed to benefit them, and they exploit it to the fullest. Section 5. A fair share for all, why it's good for business in America. Paying a living wage isn't just the right thing to do, it's the smart thing to do. When workers earn a decent wage, they spend their money in the local economy. They buy groceries, pay rent, and purchase goods and services.
This increased consumer spending fuels economic growth and creates jobs. It's time to shift the narrative from corporations can't afford to pay a living wage to corporations can't afford not to pay a living wage. Investing in workers is investing in a stronger, more prosperous future for everyone.
A fair and just society requires that everyone has the opportunity to earn a decent living. It's time to close the income gap, create an economy that works for everyone, and ensure that all Americans have a shot at a good life. Section 6, time to rewrite the rules, demand better America. The status quo is not working. We need to demand better from our elected officials and corporate leaders. We need policies that prioritize workers over corporate profits, that reward hard work with a fair wage, and that create an economy that benefits everyone, not just the wealthy few.
Write to your representatives, support businesses that pay a living wage, vote for candidates who have a plan to address income inequality. We need to raise our voices and demand change. The time for complacency is over.
The fight for a living wage is a fight for the soul of America. It's time to reclaim the American dream and create a nation where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. Remember, the only reason why corporate greed exists is because we the people allow it. Like, follow and share on YouTube at What Is Next 89, and for TikTok, follow me at Click TikTok.